Hello, everyone, and welcome back to We Promise. This is the Prime Universe, not the Mirror Universe. Trekyards! I'm Captain Foley.
But we are in the future. We time travel to tell you about a theory we have, because all records were lost, and we have to dissect the theory. And time travel causes amnesia. So who am I? Stuart?
Commander Kraken's
Hey! Really? I thought it was a captain.
Oh, yes, you're right. Well, it depends which universe you're from. In this one, I think you're supposed to be a commander. Anyway, guys, we're here to talk about something. Georgiou from Discovery is, of course, from the Mirror Universe. As we know, she was the Emperor.
It's
Empress.
affectionately called Space Hitler for her terrible actions and personality in what she did in her universe.
We saw her getting interviewed by David Cronenberg, her debriefing at Starfleet. And then ever since then, she's been acting kind of odd. We did a whole live talking about what could be up with that. A few different theories out there. But in the last episode, we got some flashbacks to the Mirror Universe.
It evolved.
Some bloody hands, a dagger, and the name San, S-A-N.
Which I heard was son, as in my son, but obviously you had subtitles, so...
Yes, and it was said a few times as like a echoey thing, like San. So... yeah, there's a lot going on there. Plus, there's one little kink in the whole thing that I didn't notice at first, but makes a lot of sense. I'll set it up, you knock it down, okay? So when they're on the planet for the scavenger thing, she's like, I want some stuff pre-2400s. And he's like, this is old. And what did she recognize that she shouldn't have been able to?
Well, she sees and it's like, oh yeah, half that tech wasn't even around, because it's clearly a TNG-esque phaser, but the head is different, so they also modified it. And we assumed, oh, that's fine, because, they're in the future. And Discovery looks like the future, which is kind of a weird visual, like it's a dissidence of like what looks post-TNG, so I think in our brains it still kind of is. But yeah, she is from not only an alternate universe, but the past. So she's never seen a TNG phaser. You could argue she's just bluffing, in which case, if he called her out instantly, she'll look stupid. And she may have researched weapons of the future, but the past for 3 weeks. But that seems a stupid thing, because you'd research the present, not waste time researching hand phasers from 800 years ago. What did you think when you read this then? Because, yeah, I didn't even think this, and it is a pretty stupid little... wait, what? Moment?
Well, it made me go, I mean, the theory was, there was an article that we saw this in, that I want to talk about a little bit. So the theory goes that in the 3 weeks, she's been helping Starfleet, or somebody within Starfleet, maybe Section 31, as a time traveler, and might have done some time traveling in that time, which is why she's now getting these flashbacks more often. I don't know if that's quite legit. I kind of like the idea that she, from the Mirror Universe, being who she is, would research weapons history, the wars that have happened over the 900 years. So weapons, things like that, would be something that she'd be interested in, just in case she ever ran across them. Need to be able to know how to use them. Fine. So we still have to answer the flashback question. And there's a lot of theories out there that because the Mirror Universe, as we were told, is drifting further and further away from our universe, it could be the separation. Now that she jumped 900 years into the future, it's really starting to affect her because she's not linked to the Mirror Universe like she was.
Anyway, so yeah, that was just an interesting thing to put out there at the start. But what's interesting about this episode is not so much that we've learned more, because we kind of haven't, beyond the fact that she's flashing or having hallucinations, whatever. But it's more that she clearly was not sort of, evil neutered. Her actions in this episode, we were wondering, is she going to be now a more gentle Georgiou? Is she, they say in the last episode they can sort of basically cure Terran, evil mirror Terran, and then 3 weeks have passed, so anything can happen. But the episode obviously is focused on her so much, makes it clear that she is not a puppy dog now. That said, she isn't truly vicious at any point. She clearly argues she's kind of acting a little bit more than she feels, but she's clearly not a nice person. So she hasn't been, unless it takes more, unless it's like it's a progressive thing where it gets more and more. So this is kind of her halfway through the treatment, etc. We don't know, but I think it takes that a little bit out of the equation, that she's been dosed with a drug and now she's less evil, because she was still pretty she still used most of her meanness, and if she's been getting hallucinations for 3 weeks, been getting worse, that are debilitating, because she, the first few scenes, she's like, this is and then she actually collapses. That's a pretty serious, it's not just hallucination, that's like a full body reaction.
Like, initially we thought it could be just because she now knows that there's been no crossings for 500 years, if you can believe that. So if that's the case, then she's like, oh, well, my whole plan was eventually to get back and take over again. Now I can't. But that seems to be less likely now. It does seem something more, linked to I think it's linked to the separation of the mirror universe, that it's getting further away. For some reason, it's throwing her off, which is interesting because it almost ties in with Detmer and how Detmer's been acting. So I don't know what's going on there specifically. It could just be the time travel aspect. Like, yeah, jumping 900 years in the future really affects that, considering where you're from is getting further away. It's not anything that David Cronenberg did to her, or Section 31, I don't think. That was one of the initial things that we thought. Like you said, they isolated the genome that creates the nastiness in the mirror universe, or the Terrans. And the theory was that maybe they had fixed that as part of their protecting the future, or protecting the Prime universe from the Terrans.
Standard procedure.
Yeah, exactly. For anybody that crosses over. So the flashbacks, though, to San, like, San could literally be her son still. We don't know who this person is. She's obviously got blood on her hands. A lot of people have speculated that it's when she killed Michael in the mirror universe. That's what she's thinking of, and that's why the whole talk with Michael of, you in the mirror universe, you said the same thing to me, and you looked just as sincere as you do now, and we all know how that turned out. So,
although in my recollection, she didn't kill her because she wasn't like, oh my god, you're still alive, when she appeared again. Because in my recollection, she went to find Lorca, but in reality she was linked with Lorca, but then she died during that situation, and then she was lost ostensibly, and then when she came back, she was still greeted with open arms, and then once Georgiou worked out, because she was pretty clear, it's like, yeah, you're not evil, you're not my daughter, etc. So I would be surprised if we're retconning that she killed Burnham, especially as that would, I mean, come on, how are we meant to root for a space Hitler who also killed our main character in the alternate universe? I mean, there's a certain point of just ridiculousness. But I like I say, even just hearing Son, but just the way it's played, I felt that would be such a thing to create a nuance with it. She did have a son before Burnham. It went poorly. She had to kill him. Something, and that might explain. Give us even more texture as to why she's so caring for this Burnham. Maybe she's thinking, this is my last chance for some sort of motherly relationship, etc. Because I had to kill one, and my other one abandoned me for this crazy guy, Lorca. Or is it even her? Maybe she's been given memories of someone else. Maybe the David Cronenberg, I think his name was, gave her memories of another Terran who they want information from, because only a Terran can sort of utilize memories of a Terran, and therefore these aren't actually her memories, because there's nothing specific. Obviously, we saw her flash to little, one frame parts of previous episodes, but they weren't new bits. We didn't see her in old costume, etc. But I wonder if we're even going to get a mirror universe like bonus story, or if it's just a one scene sort of flashback of I killed a dude.
See, that's the thing. I think there's going to be another mirror universe thing at some point. Hopefully, just to explain this, because they set it up pretty hard. But like, it's really affecting her to the point where she's on the floor like she's having a stroke. Like you said, it's a full body
debilitating.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's got to be some good payoff for it. I guarantee the next episode we're not going to hear anything about it. It's how they do things in Discovery. It's like, here's the thing until it's not important, until it's important again. Like the song, the tune wasn't mentioned at all in the last episode.
But we liked that, though. It wasn't important.
We did.
But, you don't need necessarily one breadcrumb of the overall episode, of the overall story on every episode. You need to focus on the episodic and then build other things. And with such a large ensemble crew that barely get time as it is, I'd rather have a scene where they play with the comm badge than listen to someone else mention the song, etc., which is fine. And the badge looked like a different universe badge entirely. It was thinner more blocky. Didn't like the classic one. I don't know about you, but it felt like they were showing off a new badge as if they were a different division or in the past. Because maybe this could be young Georgiou before she became Emperor. Because that'd be kind of fun if we saw, flashbacks to her when in her 20s, also played by a different actress, taking the emperorship.
Yep. That's the vibe that I got from it. I thought, is this a younger Georgiou, and kind of like before that she was the Emperor? So that's kind of the thought that I had about that situation.
So I don't know how old the actress is, but I mean, I'm assuming 40 years ago is a fair... She's in her 50s or 60s, I would assume. So Michelle Yeoh is 58. So if she took over the Empire in her 20s, obviously with no context how or why, but, what's that? A 38-year-old younger actor comes in, kicks butt, sees the old badge of the old Emperor, kills old Emperor, makes a new badge. This is my version. Could be fun. And if maybe the drug... If we do go back to the idea that they're taking the mirror from her, maybe it like makes her relive her worst actions and kind of faces them and kind of burns them out of her brain. And so seeing her take over the Empire, probably quite a thing.
Well, that's one of the theories though that we proposed with the other thing, was because if they did take that gene out of her, it could be like, okay, fine, I'm not as ruthless. I can still act ruthless if I want, but all of a sudden the guilt of everything she's done might come back and be like, now you have empathy. You know how other people feel. You can, because that's one of the problem with like serial killers and stuff. They don't have empathy. They don't understand that the feelings of others. So they're more inclined to do nasty things because they don't understand how that would feel. They can't put themselves in the position of the other person. Could be that she's reliving these things because if it was genetically corrected, that her mind is trying to make sense of it all now, and because she has empathy and feelings and guilt now, it's all kind of coming back. And guilt can be very debilitating in certain circumstances, especially when you're Space Hitler, like you said. You've eaten sentient beings, you've destroyed millions upon millions of people's lives and killed them. There's a lot there. So that could still be a possibility.
And that certainly would be a fun excuse to see how she formed her empire. Maybe she had to do an insanely horrific thing to take over, as you would expect. That's the emperorship. I mean, Hoshi, did some pretty mean things, etc. And so having to relive that would be fun. And then at the end, she's purged of it. But by doing so, she also has to maybe part of the treatment is finding the good in those moments. So now that, cause we were both surprised how blunt the Burnham and her discussion was, as if okay, now they know, moving on. Like there isn't gonna be a will they won't they sort of for that information. So maybe her then talking to Michael, because she's reliving Burnham and her relationship as part of that, because I'm sure that she helped to become, well, I guess she wouldn't have been more than yet, or maybe not, but maybe they then flash forward a little bit. But when we never saw Mirror Burnham, that might be part of it. Maybe part of her transition to being good is reliving some of those memories, and therefore we have to see those. We get to see Mirror Burnham.
Yeah, they're adding more stuff in that they don't need to make it more complicated. If that's the case, it's like.
But multi-season arc potentially. The Mirror Universe might be a solution. I mean, how logical would that be? We had a whole Mirror Universe storyline in season 1. We know we can travel there via the Spore Drive, so maybe the Mirror Universe is the key to solving the burn. Not because it caused it, but because there's something there that can help undo it or stabilize dilithium. And Georgiou's the only one. Because why else keep her around? She's such an uninteresting character overall. But having us go back to the Mirror Universe, and because they can travel through time, because is it technically time travel if they're going to an alternate universe at a different time?
A good question, yeah. Well, see, and that could be the reason for the burn, is that the separation of the two universes like a zipper, and once it gets to the point, it just ripped and fractured all the dilithium in our universe.
But basically, Stuart, we don't know, but that was our debate, and we'll look back on this in a few weeks and be like, wow, it was just a headache. She was just getting headaches, and there's no crusher to say headache. That's new.
Put your thoughts down below, what you guys thought. That's what the comment section is for. Any suggestions, ideas you have, put them down there. Love to read those things and have you guys be part of the community that way. You can also join us for our lives, which is a great way to support the channel as well. So if you can, make sure that you've clicked the notification bell icon to all, so you get notified when we upload our lives and our regular content as well. Make sure you hit like on this video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the goodness. So
I have a lot. It's all free. We are very proud of that. We just put it all out there. You guys to enjoy. But if you do and can, help us out via super chats during our lives, which is a great one-to-one interact, well, 1 to 500 interaction. But you know what I mean. It becomes one-to-one when you super chat. Or give via the Patreon or on PayPal, which is trekyards@hotmail.com. There's the PayPal. It all goes towards the show costs. Or join the channel as well on YouTube. That also really, really helps. Or all of the above. Or 2 of the above. Or 3 of the above. Any of the above or none of the above. And just keep watching. All helps. There you go.
That's right. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm Connor Coggins. Bye, guys.
See ya.